So be angry, but don't let your anger lead to sin. There's a right way and a wrong way to handle anger. Not letting the sun go down on your wrath. When I was a kid, my uncle used to tell me that all the time. I don't know why. I guess I was an angry kid. But he would say, don't let the sun go down. Deal with this anger before you go to bed. I never understood it. Because it festers. You wake up mad and it's a cycle. You got to nip it in the bud. Somebody say, nip it in the bud. That's my new rule with everything. Nip it in the bud. Nip it in the bud. Amen. Because it becomes a forest. You got to, get a tractor to chop down the trees and clear the land. So how do you deal with it? The first thing you have to do is acknowledge it. Acknowledge that you're angry. Just acknowledge it. If you don't acknowledge it, you'll never get free of it. You're angry. If you're angry, acknowledge it. Quit trying to, I'm not angry. Yes, I see real anger issues in you, but I'm not angry. But I discern. I'm going to pick on Ivy, but I discern, Ivy, that you're angry. I'm not angry, but I'm your pastor, and I'm telling you, there's an issue there. You're angry. I'm not angry. People are angry and they won't admit it, and then they're miserable or depressed. I stayed in bed for a year in my 20s because I was so depressed. Why? I was angry. Why? I was disappointed. Why? Because I started a newspaper that was way better than the college's newspaper, but I didn't have enough funds to keep it going. And I felt like my dream had died. It was a disappointment. But see, I didn't know then that one day I would be the author of over 50 best-selling books and the editor of a major magazine. There was nothing to get disappointed about. Sometimes it's a perspective issue, but we have to acknowledge it. And then recognize what's triggering it. When you get angry, take some time to think about it. Why are you so angry? What just happened before you got mad? What triggered it? What happened? Sometimes you get so angry so often you don't even think about why. Then feel it. Don't act on it, but don't stuff it, because that's toxic. So feel it. Allow yourself to feel it. Okay, anger. I acknowledge you. I feel you, but you are not going to control me. And then process it with a safe person if you have to. So I'm a verbal processor. I have to talk about it. How many of you are like that? You got to talk about it. I feel like, amen, it's you and me, woman of God. I feel like, sometimes the people who don't talk about it, I mean, if you can deal with it with God, that's fine. But I find that, people who don't talk about things, sometimes they let it build up until it just overwhelms them. So it's okay to talk about it with somebody. And then you need to forgive it. Whatever they did, you need to forgive it. And then you need to let it go. Somebody say, let it go. That's why Paul said with anger, you got to put it away. Put it away somewhere. God has such a wonderful plan for all of our lives. And anger, it's like a stumbling block. Why spend another one of your days? Why spend an hour in unresolved anger when you could walk in joy and peace and love, right? I mean, we serve a God who is full of joy. He laughs at his enemies. He sings songs over us. Isn't that amazing? We want to walk in the fullness of God. We need to put away anger once and for all. And in a moment, we're going to have an altar call. Some of you are dealing with anger. And if you'll come today, you'll receive strength to resist that battle. And some of you need prayer for other things. We never like to close a service without allowing you to come to the altar for altar ministry. But I want to tell you one quick testimony. It's going to take about a minute.